And this brings us down to item 2.03, which is the adoption of the agenda. And before we call for that, we would like to pull for discussion and action consent consent item 8.01, number one. We want to pull that separately. And then on personnel recommendations, we want to pull 3, 4, and 5, and also 9 and 10. And we'll take each one of those separately this evening. And any other adjustments? If not, do we have a motion and second? All right, Ms. Agner makes that motion. Ms. Mathis seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. And an approval of our minutes of November the 19th of 2024 organizational meeting. Do I have a motion and second? Ms.
Motion.
Mathis makes that motion. Ms. Carlton seconds it. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And then item number 2 on the 19th of November, our regular school board meeting and executive session. Ms.
Motion.
Carlton makes that motion and Ms. Agner seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. And at this time, I believe we've got some recognitions this evening. And Mr. Wentworth, I will turn it over to you.
Certificate of Achievement for achieving a perfect score on the grade 5 statewide science assessment, Kai Acosta. Jackson Durham.
What was his for?
Eighth grade statewide science assessment. Perfect score.
Okay.
Andrew, you won't get pictures. Just have them all stand up here. Just keep them all up here, Reggie. She wants to take pictures of them.
Mary Buzz.
Superintendent Wentworth, do you want to keep them all up here so you can get a picture? Okay. Okay.
Anthony Knight for achieving perfect score on the grade 7 fast mathematics assessment. Here. And Donald Polk, grade 6.
So, oh, come on. We're gonna stay right here.
Principal.
You don't.
Just a little bit in case you get it hot. There you go, guys. We'll take a couple of shots. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. That's good. 3. We'll do one more. Everybody look at me. 1, 2. Good. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you.
At this time, we'd like to recognize our 2024 District School Related Employee of the Year, Ms. Deborah
All right, Deborah.
That it? Okay, just didn't know we were down to number 3 or not, so we've taken care of item
Number
number
three.
3. Okay. All right, well, thank you all.
We
for-
are on number 3.
So we've had, do we have any
We're still on the
students?
recognitions. We got number 3 on the recognitions. We still need to work on it.
Do we have any students gone through the MERV?
We actually have Mr. Murph right over here next to Casey.
We got any?
Yeah, we on recognitions, yeah.
We have a basketball and soccer games, so a lot of kids are in that and they're at their games. But a couple of our wonderful, students, there's another one. Participated in our program. He had about 50 students that went through the program. It was 10 days, 4 days? What did we do? 10 days with him. I'm gonna let him kind of talk at his time, but he has been great, did a lot with our students, and if we can use him more. Yes.
I'm gonna,
You want to use the microphone, Murph?
I'm
Okay.
gonna pass this out first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent, here you go, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
attorney, here you go. Are you attorney? You look like one. Okay. So I'm not gonna take much of your time. It's my honor to be here. Man, this is beautiful. I got so much to say, but I know I don't have much time to say it. I give kudos to Ms. Casey for opening the door for me to come to your lovely city to serve, because that's what it's all about. We go way, way back, and she can tell you about that when if you have time for her to share. However, I served the youth at your middle school and high school, and it did my heart good to see them gravitate towards knowledge, being hungry to learn. I'm an instructor. I write books. I'm a family man. I've been married to the same woman for 21 years. Can I get an amen from somebody? Okay, because stuff ain't easy these days, man. So been married. I have a 28-year-old daughter, a grandbaby. My daughter have another baby on the way, and I have a 16-year-old son. Perry, Florida have a soft spot in my heart because you have a resident that's no longer with us, Mr. H.B. Pemberton. I think his relatives work for the city or somewhere here, but my little son was premature, and he was in a lifeless state when I had to rush him to the hospital in Madison one night, and that brother took care of my son as if he was my own. When my son started crying, that cry was like no other. So as a father, I love family. So he preserved my son's footsteps. So when I got a chance to go back to Taylor County, I jumped right on it because that brother came through for me, and he passed away. He saved my son's life when he had cancer. So it resonates with me a lot about true love. So when I teach my courses, I'm keeping it real with the youth. I'm able to relate to them. We have fun, and I share this with the board, and we can share with anybody else here that's interested. I take my curriculum serious, and after we get done, we get surveys. I want the youth to tell me what they think. If you want the truth, ask your children, right? They will tell the truth. And they kept it real with me. So these results have me in tears. And there was one that said, I'm not sure what school it came from, but she said that because of your course, I am now able to openly talk to my parents about my mental health. Man, that touched me deep because we lose a lot of children for different reasons. Okay, I got a chance to travel to Africa. I went to Africa last month, and I taught my course there. So inside of that, you will also see comments from the students in Africa. When God is on you, he's on you. We just got to be able to utilize our talents while we're able to do it. But somebody got to recognize it and embrace it and don't mind being innovative. So I thank Casey, Ms. Wadad, the principals at the high school. Man, you all just been lovely, and I love it. And if I can support you all again, let me know. I am here. I will take any questions. I'm going to get out your way. Matter of fact, you all want to say something? You all did real good in my class. So let me tell you this. So before I start my classes, I'm very strict because if there's no structure, ain't no learning taking place. We gotta learn. I give all them a chance. I say, listen, now we're in here. If any of you all are going through grade school to graduate high school and be a bum, live paycheck to paycheck, struggle in and out of prison, you can go and leave out now. No one leaves out. So what that tells me, brother, it's talent teach, right? Yeah. So that means I'm talking to young adults, not anything less. And that all of them stayed and they did an amazing job. There's videos of all of them learning and taking pride in learning. So I'm not sure if you all are being shy, but you want to say something? If you hate the class, just say it. Tell everybody. Whatever you want to say it. Anybody want to share something? No, you good? Okay. Are there any questions for me from the board or anyone?
I just want to acknowledge again just Ms. Roberts' effort, because we always hear a lot in regards to the middle school and, you know, just that age group. And I think a lot of times, you know, we get as adults and we forget that we was once kids and, you know, we didn't always do what we need to do. But Merv, again, he's got a mentor program that he does in Madison County. I know he's done stuff at the state level. Far as with the Department of Juvenile Justice and DCF and different things. So I know he had been trying for some time to, you know, bring this program to Taylor County. Through Casey, the opportunity presented itself the last school term, and we've had him back for this school term. And Merv, keep in contact. I'm able to see the information that, again, is coming back from the students. This is not, you know, his words or the teacher words. This is feedback from the students. And so when I seen some of that information, I say, we really need to get you before the board and, you know, let the board, you know, hear, you know, we approve this program to come in here, but now let's, you know, get an update and see the data, how this program is doing. And he was all for it. He said, I'm going to Africa, but now you can get me when I get back. And so between him and Casey, they got it organized and he's here. And I thought the superintendent would even like, you know, to see this, because I know this is something he's had a concern about in regards to us, you know, making sure we have ways to address some of the situation our students get in regards to behavior and making decisions. So I just really thought it would be a good opportunity. This is a great program. I mean, he even made adjustments, you know, to get it here for us. So I just thought it would be a disservice that he's been putting in his work and we didn't acknowledge it, as well as not acknowledging the students' commitment in regards to them getting in this program and fulfilling this program. And now, I mean, we got students that Casey, you know, these kids have, you know, made different decisions, but she said that they're actually been leaders this year and they're being role models for the sixth graders that's coming in. And so I thought that needed to be recognized, just like we recognized everything else. So I'm glad you was able to come tonight, and I really appreciate the work you're doing, and I hope we can just keep it moving.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm proud of, I got grandchildren coming along. Thank you for what you do.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And thank you.
Yeah, so there, and I have to add, I know my time is up. I see you looking at me. So I'm about to tighten up here. There's so my Boys to Kings organization started in 2009. Just tired of losing our young men to the same crap, man. No matter about their race, we're losing them to the same stuff. So we started this thing, and it's for humans, not a race. That's the thing about it. And we just started it in Taylor County, and we have about 5 young men now that's registered. It's a parent involvement mandatory. If the parent can be involved, we don't babysit. We're trying to change lives, and it starts with the whole family. And Greg Flowers is the senior parent liaison. We're trying to find one more man to work with him, and I pay them to do this. So if you're a male that want to mentor, I mean, what better way to give back to young men? It makes us better men, to be honest. If you want for them young men, I probably won't be I'll probably still be a good husband, but they make me a better husband. But I would end by saying this. I visit many schools. Every principal don't care about their children. Every teacher don't care about the children. I'm being honest. The lady right there have a soft spot in the heart for these children, and I commend her for that. So I want to give kudos to Ms. Casey for just being innovative. I think a lot of times school systems suffer because people don't want to be innovative. They want to do the same things and you keep getting the same results. But she was willing to step out there. We've been kicking butt. So I look forward to continuing to serve you all. And if I can be of any assistance, let me know. Love you all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank
you.
much. Thank
Murph,
you.
did you want to introduce these students?
Ma'am,
Did you want to
Take a
introduce
picture
these
up here with
students?
take a picture.
students.
Did you
Man, I
want
don't-
to
listen,
introduce
See,
them?
now you put me on the spot. I don't remember these names. Because I now listen, so many students. What's your name?
No. Yes. Right, yeah.
Thank you. Valerie.
All right, nephew.
Take double shots. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Thank
Okay,
y'all.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You got something now?
We do, Mr. Lundy. We've got a number 4 on here tonight. And I talked with Miss Mathis about this down at our school board and superintendent training down in Tampa last week. We want to recognize as many of our students as possible anytime they achieve good things within our schools. And we've invited a couple of our youngsters here tonight to give us their Tropicana speech.
Oh,
They're our Tropicana, our 4-H speech winners of their grade, and it's our 4th grader is Miss Maggie Wigglesworth. And we'll let her go first.
You can pull it down. There you go.
Before I get started today, I think it's important that you know I am a huge Florida State fan. I've been attending Florida State football games since before I was 1. My parents and grandparents both got engaged at a Florida State football game. I even plan to attend Florida State University when I graduate high school. I don't know if you can tell, but Seminole sports, especially football, is pretty important in my family. And our Lady Knowles have 2 awesome programs right now with softball and soccer. Both programs have dominated the last few years in women's sports. I really love going to the women's soccer games with my soccer team from Tallahassee. And my coach is an assistant coach for the FSU women's soccer team too. We even got to go on the field for one of the games this season. Like I said, I really love FSU. I only have one problem though. I'm surrounded by gators. You see, I love my hometown, but half of the people are gators. My town is located halfway between Florida State University and the University of Florida, and they just happen to be bitter rivals. So many of my friends and family are gators. I'm pretty safe at my house, but both of my uncles, my babysitter, and some of my best friends are gators. I can't even go to the grocery store without seeing a gator tag on someone's car. Leading up to that Saturday after Thanksgiving, the smack talk gets pretty serious. Even our school colors are orange and blue. Do you know how hard it is to get dressed to support our colors? Even though I really don't like the Gators, I know I can come home and play with my friends and love my family. Life should always come before sports. My parents taught me that it's okay to root hard for your team, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. My dad's still working on that lesson. The people I care about in life are way more important than a game, no matter how big of a fan I am. That's the part of we can set aside our rooting preferences for each other and get along. Maybe not on game day. I could continue on about my love for FSU sports and how great the university is, but just like our football season this year, I should probably call it quits.
Great job, Maggie.
Thank you.
And we have our 5th grade winner, Leah Rowe.
Thank you all for coming.
The Giant Middle School. It just hit me that in a few months I will be a middle schooler. Yeah, you know that giant building with all the giant kids. What is it about transitioning to middle school that makes students grow overnight? Is it the middle school cafeteria food? I'm already a tall 5th grader, so I'm afraid I'll turn into one of those giants too. They even talk and act different, like forgetting how to make complete sentences and referring to everyone as bruh. I'm scared I won't be able to learn their language. Now, I know middle school doesn't really have giants, but the entire experience seems terrifying. Middle school would be so much different from elementary. Not only will there be a difference in student sizes and maturity level, but so many other factors. For example, grade levels, academic skills, and academic workloads. All the changes won't be scary because I recall my older sister having some middle school classic moments. I'm going to share a few changes that occur when going to middle school. Puberty is a time kids grow into young adults through physical and emotional changes over time. We can refer to it as the giant phase. The Central Precocious Puberty, CPP, is a parent's guide outlining the stages of puberty. The guide shares 5 stages that youth experience during puberty. So I guess the giant phase is pretty normal. Other changes that occur are academic skills. We will go from focusing on basic math, reading, writing, and science classes to having more advanced classes like technology. My sister even earned a high school credit in math while at the middle school. I know, right? Such a show off. Must have something to do with puberty, too. In conclusion, I've learned that just because experiences are new and terrifying doesn't mean a change is a bad thing. I'm ready to embrace some amazing challenges like being on the tumble team, trying out for basketball, and maybe even learn to play a new instrument and band. Elementary has prepared me to move on to the next chapter to middle school. So maybe having 6 classes and teachers, dealing with being an emotional preteen because of puberty, having more homework, higher expectations from my parents, and being called a giant isn't so bad. Middle school is going to be exciting when the time comes. But for now, I'm going to enjoy the rest of elementary school. The giant middle school can wait for now.
Great job,
Excellent
Leah.
speakers.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank y'all for sharing your children with
awesome.
us. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all of
All
them?
right.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, okay.
One
Well,
more.
we
One more.
appreciate both
One
of
more.
you sharing.
We got one
your
more. We got one more.
Hearing. Anybody else?
We got one more.
Come on.
All right.
Want me to start?
Yep.
You might think when you hear the word Apollo, it's about the mission to the moon. Well, you thought wrong. Hello, I'm Amelia Laval, and today I will be talking about the Greek god. I love learning about Greek mythology, but there's one character that really catches my eye. Give it up for the Greek god of, well, basically everything cool. He had a strange backstory, but in the end played a big part in Greek development. Everyone, I present to you Apollo. You might be wondering, what is he even the god of? He is the Greek god of light, poetry, healing, plagues, prophecy, music, knowledge, order, beauty, archery, the arts, and agriculture. But my favorites include music, the arts, and healing. Music. And don't even pretend you don't like it a little bit. I always want to boogie when I hear the radio play my favorite song. Second is the arts. I love drawing and being creative. It brings me comfort and joy and is always a way to express myself. And finally is healing. Apollo isn't just the Greek god of healing wounds, he is the Greek god of healing the heart. And trust me, we've all had one of those days. In Greek mythology, Zeus was the king of all gods and goddesses, and he also had a wife named Hera. Now, the Greeks made sure drama was included in relationships and made them a little complicated. And this just so happened to be the case for Apollo, when his mother, a woman named Leto, fell in love with Zeus, and needless to say, Hera was jealous, so in order to get revenge, she sent a serpent monster named Python to chase Leto, until finally she was able to find refuge on Delos and gave birth to Apollo and his twin sister Artemis. And at 4 days old, Apollo was already strong and able, and he wanted to avenge his mother by killing Python, which he succeeded in. Apollo was a big influence in the Greek culture and helped them to achieve great feats. He invented the flute and the lyre, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with the musical instrument lyre, it is a string instrument with a U-shaped frame. Apollo was believed to be able to bring diseases and death with his arrows and prayed to by the Greeks for his giving of healing and care. People usually prayed to him before and after battle. He also gave divination to the Greeks. Divination is the practice of predicting the future and its significance. Apollo is my favorite thing in Greek mythology to learn about. He had one of the most adventurous stories and was worshipped because of his greatness. He inspired many Greeks and is still a very important character to learn about. If I said I wasn't a big fan of Apollo, that would make me a liar.
What grade?
Sixth, okay. Thank
Great
you.
job,
Thank you.
Aaliyah.
Yeah, good
Super
job.
job.
Super job.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, young ladies, for sharing with us, and just keep it up. No telling what you may have in store for you down the road. No telling. Keep it up.
Right.
We're proud of you. Okay.
They did a very great
Uh,
job.
Yeah.
Give you a
Excellent
break. If
speakers.
you do not want to stay for the remaining part of this meeting, you're welcome to go, but just whatever you feel free to do. But thank you all for coming.
Thank you,
y'all.
guys.
Thank y'all.
To give you some
Thank
reprieve.
you.
Okay. All right. This brings us down now to the item of 3.01, which is the items of concern by the public. And if we have anyone here this evening that would like to address the board at this time, this would be your opportunity to do such. Do we have anyone? All right, if not, we move on. We pulled 8.01, number one, to take care of it separately. It was a consent item.
We could discuss it now.
And
Mhm.
number one is a random moment time study, Medicaid administrative claiming services, Medicaid billing services, an optional module agreement with Taylor County School District and the Civic Solutions Group LLC. I think, Ms. Donnell, you have some questions on this.
Yeah,
First.
that's fine. Motion.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Carlton makes the motion on it, seconded by Ms. Mathis. Okay, now,
Miss Bethay was here. I mean, Miss Lido was, Bethay was here, but she stepped out. So I guess Miss Lacy can speak to it. I did have a couple of questions. I'm trying to figure out how we arrived to needing this contract.
Right now, for their Medicaid billing, they're doing it by hand on paper. So what we're billing is very, very minimal. So this is the computer software where everything will be billed electronically.
Okay,
So all the providers, speech language, occupational therapy, physical therapy, they enter all of their provider notes and dates of service into this system, and then ESC department will bill straight from this system. That's gonna increase our revenues between $50,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
We're missing out on.
so this basically will be putting us in a position where we'll be doing more fee for service when it comes to our Medicaid. Okay, okay,
Several services we're not billing for just because we're still doing it the old school hand and paper method. So this will change it electronically and allow us to bill a lot more fee per service.
okay. And so my other question is there a reason why it needs to be a 5-year contract? I noticed on there, it said it would be effective, which I understand Medicaid allow us to bill back. So I guess I'm assuming that's why we're going back to the beginning of the year with January. And it's gonna run to, I can't remember if it was to June of 2029. Yeah,
And
is
was
it
not where
something
you
we can
renew it-
annually,
you
you
can
know?
renew it annually up to 5 years and that,
Well, it,
I haven't seen the whole contract. I was just in on some of those meetings.
Mm-hmm.
it does say though that it can be terminated by either party with a 90-day notice.
Yeah,
During that
that's
period.
not my real concern. It's just some research that I've done is that, like you say, in the past, we somewhat have done fee for service. It's not something we've did a lot with. I'm not sure why, especially when we see that our ESC needs continue to grow. I know we get IDEA funding that helps supplements, ESC services, but Medicaid kind of pays for itself. So I'm liking that we're going in this direction, but I guess the concern is, um, will this pay for itself as well as allow us to, pay for some other services? Because I know right now when it comes to EEE, what is not supplemented with IDEA, we pay out of general fund. So if we're got the potential to draw enough funding where this would pay for itself an additional, I just want to know who's going to be responsible for monitoring to that, because I know when money come in, it comes to you, but ESC fall up under Sabrina. And like I said, I don't know at what point that everything went from paper to computers, and I know stuff change over time, but if this is something that we've, have not been so diligent on, and now that we're going to this provider, is it going to fall up under ESC far as the monthly or annual or quarterly review of this to ensuring that this billing is taking place? Like, you're saying that the individuals, because I know we provide OT services, PT services, the nursing, like when they, go to put this stuff in, is it them putting it in and then ESC is making sure that a certain time, by the month or the year that this stuff is in there? Because Medicaid will go back a year, but if we're just starting this year, it ain't gonna go back 3, 4 years. So like, what is the plan? I don't know if the superintendent could speak to that. What is gonna be the plan that this will pay for itself?
So the person they have in ESC that will be the manager of it. The secretary of ESC will be the manager. And so she'll be going in daily and making sure the students are on the schedule to be seen that day.
Okay.
All of their provider notes are in there.
Mhm.
Ms. Haswell will be responsible for all of hers.
For mental health, right?
Her 4 employees, she'll be responsible for them, and then Sabrina will be over the,
Now, who's gonna be responsible for our nurses?
well, that's for Sabrina to determine
Okay.
who she wants over each.
Mhm.
But the secretary will be responsible, and it's billed every month, they will be billing Medicaid for fee for service.
So now, Reggie, I mean, do we have the opportunity where we can ensure that there's a monthly, requirement in regards to billing? Because I know Medicaid will go back, but you don't want to get backed up either. So that's my thing, is that we're looking to roll this out, I'm assuming as soon as possible, to at least get in there and do some billing back to January this year. Like, do you have a plan in place, like far as, how this is gonna be doing? Because my thing is, if it pays for itself, I'm good with it. But if we're already now having to pay for certain funding out of general fund, I don't want this to be a bill that's going to general fund if it really could pay for itself. I would like to know that if we're gonna take out this contract, that again, it's gonna cover itself, not just be another bill or another expense we're adding to the general fund.
But I think what Victor is saying is, this falls under ESC, so our ESC coordinator, whatever, should ensure that this is happening.
Yes, right.
That's what you guys.
Yes.
Is Ms. Patty going to be responsible? That's how.
In other words, are we going to utilize this contract? Or are we just going to?
Going to make sure.
Yeah.
that this is
Right.
happening.
Right.
I mean, because I get we've been doing it the paper way, but we know Medicaid will pay for itself. We know Medicaid is complex. So I do know, we've had some changes in our ESC department. I know when Miss Millie was here, Miss Millie retired, I think, when I first got on the board. I don't know how it's been since, she's gone, and, we've had several different people in ESC, but it's to my knowledge, we're leaving money on the table with Medicaid. And our ESC concerns are growing. We, like I say, IDEA supplements that, but we shouldn't be having to cover, these services out of general fund completely. Now, I do know there's a budget, but it shouldn't be so much coming out of it when you got a source that can pay for it. And so that's what I'm saying. Whoever needs to be the person to oversee that, I just want to know that's going to happen, because I know me and you've talked about this, Lacey, like ESC has a lot of contracts. and they get a budget, but again, if they got a source of funding that could pay for their services, why not we put something in place to make sure that's gonna happen? So
Okay.
I just wanted to, like I say, when I seen the 5-year, I kind of backed up. I'm like, well, wait a minute. But I mean, I don't know if those terms could be negotiated. I don't know. But I'm just kind of, I know it got language that could be terminated, but I want to know what type of annual review or monitoring we can be doing. So if it's covering itself, yeah, but I don't want us to get used to this. And like I say, we're lacking on our end where we're months behind in billing versus, it's been something that we're staying on top of on a daily, weekly basis.
Lacey, could you give us a report in the financial thing like you normally do to show actually what is being done each month so we can compare? Okay.
Well, Ms. Bethea's, but she could kind of speak to what her, yeah. Yeah, no, I get what we're gonna be utilizing for, but I guess the concern is since it's coming a concern that we can't, we're leaving money on the table and now we can kind of, truly generate some funding from this. I guess what's your implementation plan in regards to ensuring that this is paying for itself and that the billing is taking place and that, we're seeing, some progress in regards to what we're generating with fee for service? Mhm. Okay.
And they're gonna be required to have Tiffany in my office is gonna be the one, they'll turn their stuff into her, and it's actually gonna be in a computer system. Some checks and balances where she checks to make sure they're
Okay.
documenting, and that's in the past, when I got this job, it wasn't documented like it should be the fee for service.
Right.
Because they didn't think we would get enough bang for our buck, but as we're learning and we've gotten some trainings,
Mm-hmm.
we've gotten Medicaid from DOE to come down, and they did some trainings with us. We're also gonna do this company.
Okay.
So for example, like right now, our rates for the buses are $5, for special needs buses are $5 per student per way. Well, once they do a rate study, then dollars per student per way, so that's $30 a day, per kid.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
What-
Now,
Can I,
Go
what kind
ahead.
of monitoring will you be doing to ensure that all this is happening?
I mean, we're gonna have to meet with our service providers weekly to make sure they're weekly, because in the past, they've done it, monthly. So that's one of the things that we're gonna be doing is meeting with
Mhm.
their paperwork.
Now, far as, I know you've had some changes in your department. So do you have I'm sure you're gonna get trained. I will hope you get trained because, these positions, especially it's been as a non-instruction positioning, people transfer and stuff. But will you have a plan in place for someone that could serve as a backup if Tiffany was out? Okay. Okay, so, mhm. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, and like far as our nurses, like, who's gonna oversee them making sure they're turning in their stuff? Is that be you or is that? Okay. And is that the plan too far as all our therapists, like the OT, PT, speech and all that? Because I mean, my thing is anything we can bill for Medicaid, it need to be getting billed. Like, we don't need to let it drop. And, if this is an opportunity, I think we really need to kind of like reel that in. And because from the research I've done, it seemed like it could pay for itself. I just don't want it to be additional expense on general fund. That's what I'm hearing, that it'll pay for itself and still, you'll still have some additional funding. So I just, right, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What are the jobs?
All right, so
Okay.
we got a motion and second.
Now, one more question, because this is,
Sure, one more.
one more question as to this. Now this, Tiffany and these people do understand that this is part of their job requirement. I don't want you know, to hear is coming back, well, we gotta negotiate this, this is being added. So they understand that this is part of, okay, they daily do this. Okay, all right.
All right, we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. Then we pull some items off of 12.01, personnel recommendations. We'll go to item number 3 of 12.01. This is instructional appointment. And do I have a motion? Ms. Carlton, you make that motion.
Second.
All right, Ms. Mathis seconds it. Now, I think we had some questions from Ms. Donnell.
Yes, Ms. Pugh with Ms. Sanchez Hall. So this is effective December. So, has Ms. Hall been subbing since the beginning of the year, or is it? Okay. All right. Okay. 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 And so now I did see that, you know, I asked for additional information. She's got a statement of eligibility, but technically she's still out of field. So what is the plan for her in regards to getting in field? Mhm. Okay, so why are we giving her to the end of the year versus right now her, you know, figuring out in regards to working on 6 hours or challenging a test? You said at the end of the year, so that's what I'm asking. So she knows as of now, she could be working 6 years towards this, right? Okay. 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 So that's why I'm asking because I haven't recognized Miss Janet and I didn't go so far, but I did recognize that Miss Gaddy, and you know, you had the date on here since the 2nd. And my concern is everybody know how I am concerned in regards to the temporary certification. But the concern is I'm not seeing the data as to how, you know, these people are really working towards getting in field. I'm understanding that when they get a statement of eligibility, that technically they're considered certified. I get that part. But I'm also learning more in regards to what is attached to a certification. You know, I know in the past, Mr. Thompson would always say, you know, they had to produce documentation and everything. And, you know, as I talk to HR and, you know, districts across the state and colleagues, their concern is, you know, when they bring someone in, because of the times we're in regards to recruiting, you know, we recruit and, you know, we could get people out of field, but the goal is for them to get certified as soon as possible in regards to professionally certified. So I know, but I just know I've seen it too. Well, you know, when we was under the 3-year requirement, you know, we have people, they here for 3 years, but at the 3 years, they're no longer here because they didn't get certified.
Those 5 or 6 have either gotten their professional certificate because they have been through the program
Mhm.
that I brought in 2 years ago. And 2 of those are right now in the middle of trying to apply for that professional certificate, way before their temporary expires. But if you'll tell me what kind of information.
I just want to see because it's an investment for us. And like I say, I know several districts do this, but again, I know, you know, they're getting teachers' pay. And, you know, we've always had the concern that comes from the veterans. I understand that, but I'm talking about Taylor County right now with the concern that I know, I'm saying, I know other counties, I've did the research that I know throughout the state of Florida, people do this in regards to recruiting. So it's not like we're the only one. But the concern is for here, when we're losing revenue that we used to once have, the bill is getting tighter. And every year we know what's coming when it's time to negotiate in regards to instructional or non-instructional. I don't look forward every year to keep telling people we don't have it. And so my thing is, or we're gonna pay someone that's out of field the same amount that I could pay someone that's walking the door and professionally certified, I would like to ensure that they're gonna make the investment in us if we're gonna continue to do this. Now, I don't know where Reggie mind is with this. I just know the last two superintendents, they was interested in doing this. But for me, when money is getting tighter, I don't want to keep telling our veteran teachers we can't get them no more than professional pay, but then we're having people that's in field and they're not really doing all that they can to get professionally certified because you're paying them teacher salary. So exactly. No, we pay the employee, right? Right. And so that's what I'm saying. This last time, what came from the union was you got people that are out of field, but under temporary that's making the same thing as a veterans teacher. And so that's what I'm saying. Earlier this year when we did negotiation, we increased our beginning teacher salary from 42.5 to 45,000. So these teachers that got a statement of eligibility and they're in here and they're doing the same work y'all say, um, and they got a statement of eligibility, they got a temporary certification, they got a $2,500 increase on top of performance pay. But you had veterans teachers that were professionally certified, all they got was performance pay. So my thing is, if you're gonna keep using this as a vehicle to recruit, I would like to know how we're staying on top of them getting in field as soon as possible, whether that's them challenging the test or that's them doing it 6 hours. I don't want it to be there taking, I get DOE is giving them 5 years. But again, if we're gonna make that full investment with them, I would like to see how they're gonna make the full investment with us where we're getting something out of this. I'm not talking about the PLC program. I'm talking about how we're seeing them come from out of field to infield. That's what I'm talking about. Right.
In that subject, not certified professionally, but in that subject, how many? I can also tell you how many have finished the PLC program and gotten a professional certificate because they're not spending thousands of dollars taking courses.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you, up to 15 hours in reading, in classroom management, and to spend thousands of dollars. By us providing the PLC program, we're not spending thousands of dollars. We are paying for them to have a mentor, and we're paying for someone through PACE to oversee the program. But the cost difference between that employee spending $5,000 to $6,000 or more taking courses, and us paying $1,500 program is a cost savings.
It is a cost savings, but I'm just saying I would like to see what type of percent we're, generating far as teachers getting certified. Like what percent? Like at the end of the year. Yeah.
But just,
They cannot remain out of field unless they are working towards three in whatever subject they're out of field, or they go take a state subject test.
I get the requirements. I just say I would like to see what's the turnaround is.
But you could look at our out of field letters or out of field, board approved and how many, and we have way less this year. and
Right.
Way more employees that are certified and in field this
Okay,
over the past 3 years. that I've
okay.
been
Yeah.
here. So I can.
I'd suggest that you set an appointment with her
Mm-hmm.
and go see what questions you have and get it resolved. You know, we're not going to resolve it right here.
Oh, no, it's
tonight.
not. I just wanted to know with these people coming, where they're going from subcontract to instructional appointment.
Have a
I just
motion
wanted to
and
know what
second.
was the plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried. Item number 4.
It's the
Have a
same. We already discussed number 4.
I'm sorry.
We've already discussed number 4 when we discussed number 3.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Ms. Carlton makes the motion.
Second.
Ms. Mathis seconds it. And now, once again, Ms. Donnell.
She's already answered
She's
that
already-
one.
No, I
All
didn't.
answer for these.
No, I didn't want I want the superintendent to speak to number 6.
Number 5.
We've got to vote on number 4.
Number 4.
I meant number 5. I'm sorry.
Let's get the vote on number 4. All in favor?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried.
Now we're
Item
on.
number 5.
Yeah, I just wanted the superintendent to speak to number 5.
As in what regard?
I just want you to give us some information in regards to this instructional appointment. Because it's to my knowledge that the vacancy for this came because of a transfer. So
I'll
I
make
just
the
wanted you to
motion.
tell us what your plan was.
Get a motion for.
Motion
Okay.
discussion.
All right, motion for discussion. Do I have a
Second.
second? All right, Ms. Mathis. Okay, now, I'm sorry, go ahead now.
Y'all can discuss now.
Yeah, I just wanted him to kind of give us some information.
I'm not sure exactly what you want, but I know we had the opportunity to hire Coach Shane Boggs, who was here in 2010, 2011, the last undefeated team that I recall in Taylor County. A good Christian man that's been in education a long time. He's been a head coach at Brookwood up in Georgia, private school, and been there for 8 years. Since he left Florida, he did not renew his Florida certificate because he didn't need it.
Mhm.
And he does not want to be a head coach. He wants to come back to Florida with Coach Braswell, who we coached together. And Coach Boggs got all his paperwork in for temporary certificate and is working toward his certificate, professional certificate in PE.
Mhm.
And Coach Faulkner, who was one of Coach Braswell's coaches, who is not going to be retained, is being moved to the elementary school PE position, and Coach Boggs will take over that PE position at the high school, which is very important because a new coach coming in needs to be with those kids as quickly as possible to help get to know them, the weight room, and prepare them for spring football. As far as Coach Boggs being certified, I'm not even concerned with that because like Ms. Puel said, he has how long?
Well, he has 5 years that he'll be out of field because it's temporary, it's gonna be in business. He already knows he will go back and take the PE exam. Let your certification lapse, and something has taken over 10 years. If you took an exam over 10 years ago, that you will go back and retake the test. If that's what he remains in as PE, then yes, he will have to go take the PE certification.
So
And I feel that anytime we have the opportunity to bring a person of that credibility, that character, that integrity into our program, we're getting a steal. And his wife is also a teacher who is working on her recertification, and they have a son that's a junior who is an A student that also plays football and other things. And so this opportunity to get Coach Boggs back here with our program is a blessing, in my opinion. And I can assure you that he is going to get that certification in PE, and he understands that in order to stay in that position, he has no choice.
So, I guess the concern that I'm having is you're telling me that Coach Braswell has made the assessment in regards to who he's looking to have this next upcoming school year in regards to the football program.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
And he's had that discussion with Coach Faulkner.
okay,
And Coach Faulkner from Coach Braswell is very close to being hired with a Tallahassee school to coach football, so he'll be leaving the program
okay. So typically, when does spring football start?
in May.
In May, but is there some type of need before May?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so, because the concern I'm having is Faulkner is certified. I don't know how Faulkner came. I don't know if he came with his certification. I don't know if it was something he worked on since he was here. I do know we didn't have an opening at the high school, but there was an opening at the elementary school. So that's where the opportunity was for him to transfer and for you to have this vacancy. I know over the last few years, we made a lot of improvement in regards to ensuring that people are certified. However, I do know there was a concern before in regards to another coach, that wasn't certified, and there was the concern about him being in field or whatever. Exactly. Right. And I understand that, but the concern is if we're getting them in and they're getting infield, why do you just uproot them? And I get what you're saying, Reggie. That's not my concern. It's just they make an investment when they do this. This is, time on them, and if they're doing what they needed to do, because it's not like we got people knocking the door down. So the concern is, I'm assuming you saying Jesse's taught with them and they're understanding that and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just, I'm also understanding too, that when we draw FTE in our state funding, it's not just based on student count, it's also based off of certification. So that's another reason why I'm just very concerned, again, because when someone is out of field, when someone is on the sub list, we're not really drawing FTE for that because they're not certified. But when they become infield, yeah, we're drawing some type of FTE, but it's not what we can draw when you have a professionally certified person. So, right, you're not drawing an FTE for that, right? Well, it's to my, what I'm learning is you're not drawing what you could when they're professional certified. So again, Kiki, you would have that knowledge. That you're HR. To my knowledge, they're drawing FTE, but they're not drawing the FTE that a professionally certified person would draw. Now, you could do that research as I have, but I've talked to numerous HR directors. And so, again, my concern is if you have someone in here and they certified, because typically when we have them on the sub list, we advertise until we get someone that meets that qualification. That knowledge is there. But when you give a contract with someone based off them having what they need, but then you change it for someone that doesn't, I just wonder what type of message we're sending when we have made improvement when it comes to this.
Okay. We have a motion second for discussion.
I changed my motion for action.
Action, Ms. Mathis, do you do the
Second.
same? Okay.
So moved.
All righty. And all in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Are you opposed?
Yeah, I oppose.
Okay, can you state the reason why?
Because the individual, has a statement of eligibility, but he's out of field, and you're moving someone that's in field.
Okay. All right, go down to item number 9. This is a correction of supplemental appointments. And do we have a motion and second on this?
Motion.
Discussion?
Deidre made the motion.
I'm
A
sorry.
motion.
Okay, you make a
I'll second.
motion and second. Okay, Ms. Donnell, motion, second by Ms. Carlton. Okay. You good with it or?
Yeah, I don't know if Lacey can speak to this. I don't know if the superintendent or Kiki can speak to this. When you look at the personnel recommendations that came over back on June 25th, there was a number of coaches that came over and, you know, they, whenever Heather sent over the list as far as the supplementals, there was 5 coaches. But based off 9 and 10, you're saying that you're gonna split supplementals for these coaches. Mhm.
This is my understanding of this. Back in July, so this past year, said they were like all supplemental positions, let's go ahead and get them appointed, and this is what you run into, situations like this. So Ms. McCoy has submitted for these 4 people to be paid coaching supplements.
Okay.
According to Jesse Braswell, he said the conversation was with his whole coaching staff that he would like to split the supplements because he had 9 coaches, I believe, Reggie, you correct me, Austin. I believe he had 9 coaches out there helping him.
Right.
And he felt like it was only fair that all of them received some kind of supplement to help, you know, to offset all their time and energy that they put into. They spent all day Sundays and
Mhm.
beyond what I can even tell you about. So what he asked for, and that with Lisa English and I, to get a supplement.
Mhm.
Well, Lisa, the memo, these are the only 4.
Okay.
If you want to correct that, this is the best way we know what to do. So Lisa sent him, and
Okay.
that's what they were trying to do. Let's go back in and say, all right, 4 will really get a half, and these other, I believe there were.
So for the coaches, that's because I think the way it's been explained in the past is that the coaches that are in instructional position, their supplemental is divided, right? All right. So are we certain that with this, the change not come along with the split, that these 4 supplementals is gonna be split and there's not gonna be an overpayment? Okay. Okay.
First thing I asked her when she brought this to me, I said, so someone's been overpaid? She said, actually, they have not.
Okay.
Or so early in the year, they've only received 3 paychecks.
Okay. Now, Reggie, would this be like this moving on, or is it something we could do up front? Well, who's gonna be getting a supplemental? They get a supplemental.
Well, Jennifer, I'll bring you up. So Jennifer is a supplemental person, and at the elementary school, the supplement that she now has to resign from that supplemental position, and now Roberts will have to do a new memo leaving that. So you never can.
I get when there's a vacancy like that, but it's to my knowledge, these coaches have been out there, like you say, from day one. So it's to my knowledge, every one of these coaches has been out there, you know, since Jesse's been here.
Well, and I could see that it could change year to
Yeah.
year. It could be 6 next year instead of 8.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I know we've in the past had issues with people getting overpaid or underpaid, and I don't want that to be an issue because I rather us you know, do the best we can with this because I hate to tell somebody they got to pay somebody money, pay money back. We know in the past that it has been in regards to trying to get people to pay money back, and so right.
Andrew Lee, our county,
Mm-hmm.
and he was, appointed to a supplement like weightlifting
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the school year. Those
You gotta read, yeah.
He's really gonna owe us money. There's just no way, I think we.
Unless you pay the supplement on the back end. When the sport's done and completed.
So has weightlifting started? You've already started paying him, yeah.
That was, something that came up a couple years during COVID, and during that time that supplements are started at the beginning of the year. And it's 12 checks,
Mm-hmm.
then, always things that come up.
Okay.
There may be a possibility he owes us money.
Well, that was just a concern, as if, like you say, if we've been paying them up front, far as the 4 that came over, now how do you go back and make the correction far as these additional 4 that's coming over? So that's just what the question was.
Okay, so we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Wait,
Anybody opposed? All right, and item number
Wait,
10.
Brenda has a,
I'm sorry.
Angela, did you say something?
I was trying to, Mr. Lundy, my only comment about the, calling it a correction, the supplement committee revamped the entire supplement schedule last year. And the supplement committee is supposed to meet annually. So is this something that has gone to the committee? And this is their recommendation because, you know, the union has members on that committee and so forth. So, that's my concern. You're taking the framework that was developed through the committee and then recommended to the board last year, complete revamp, and now you're talking about changing it from what little I can hear. I can't hear everything that's being said, but is that?
so we're not making a change?
We're making a change as to who's getting the supplement, but we're not making a change into the actual supplemental,
Well, I think the concern she's saying is that y'all said y'all was gonna send all the names over at one time, but now if you're going back and making a. No, y'all didn't send over all those names on June 25th. I went back and I looked at. But that's what she's saying. She's saying it came from the committee that all that information needed to come over.
that are still vacant, that we're still trying to fill. We're still trying to find people, the assistant coach in baseball at the middle school, or, you know, so that's not always possible to have all that done in July. Sometimes principals don't even have all their staff hired.
Right, but the concern is, Kiki, I get what you're saying, but the concern is on June 25th, because I went back, you sent over 5 coaches' names. It's to my knowledge that Kate is getting a full supplement and the other 4 was getting a supplement. Now you're coming back and you're correcting. I understand that. I know Miss McCoy sent it over. Let me state that for the record. Miss McCoy sent over, and it stated on June 25th that, you know, these 4, Faulkner, Mitzi, Rogers, and Walker, was going to be the coaches, and Kate would get one on his own. But now you're coming back and you're saying the 4 that you sent over and the supplemental that was attached to them, now you're splitting that supplemental. Instead of it getting paid to one person, now you're splitting it between 2 people. And so I think the concern is that came from the committee, that it will be attached to one person, not split between 2 people. Am I correct, Angela?
Well, Angela, what I'm hearing is that, we have 4 coaching positions and they're now split that between 8 people. the
Exactly.
supplement.
Right, and so having to effectively double the number of coaches based upon the framework. All I'm asking and pointing out is, has this been discussed by the committee? Is this just a one-year, caveat, or is this gonna be a change to the template going forward? I mean, is this gonna be the model going forward? And if so,
No, there's-
you know, that supplemental committee developed a schedule of how many coaches are gonna be necessary and participation in the games and all those things. So that's my only point. Has this come from the committee, or does the committee even have any knowledge of this?
We're not changing. At 5 coaching positions, they're splitting those positions.
But what her concern has the committee aware of that framework? Is the committee aware that, I don't know. I don't know, because the board never seen none of that language. All the board was told that y'all had a committee, they got together and they discussed it, and you guys discussed whatever y'all was gonna do in regards to the supplementals. But nothing ever came that a supplemental was gonna be split.
Well,
Now, I'm aware that some sports have two sponsors, some sports have one, and then it based off the number of students. But my thing is, I guess my concern and what Angela is asking, is this to fix what should have came over initially, or is this gonna be expected moving forward?
But there's nothing in that supplemental that we discussed that they could not split something. Nothing in
Well,
that.
I understand there's nothing that says it to prohibit it, but you have a committee that's supposed to develop these, and by doing that, I mean, if you were to double the number of positions, and then the union were to come back and say, okay, double the number of positions at the supplemental rate that's in the contract. All I'm asking is, has the committee had any input into this? Has the union members through the committee and the other committee members had any input into this? And so.
Well, do we even have anybody from the union? Are you aware of this?
Have to deal with that aspect.
What she's asking, are you guys aware that there was gonna be a need to split versus just one being appointed? So do you think this will be a concern for the union? I think that's what Angela is wondering. But can you speak for the whole union? Okay. Okay.
if I
Okay.
understand it correctly, the money's not changing. The money's the money. They're allotted so much money, and they can take it and divvy it up between the coaches as the coaches agree. And that's what they've done.
Angela, are you aware?
I'm sorry, Bonnie, I didn't hear you.
Angela, I just said the money did not change. The number of coaches did not change. They just agreed among themselves that they would split the money between them.
My point is, who has agreed to that? Has the committee agreed to that? Because you have a certain number of supplements that are in the contract.
The supplement did not change. The supplement did
The
not
supplement
change.
did say change, because you got right here correction. You got correction, so something did change.
The
I think
number-
what they're
Now, whether
saying-
you want to discuss it tonight, I don't know if you just want to pull this and bring it to the next one and maybe present it to the committee, but you do need to understand.
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak. I don't have a problem.
Bottom line is, there's a certain amount of coaching supplements, period. They can divide them up any way they want, as long as they don't exceed that number or the money. The money has not changed. If they had 20 coaches and they want to divvy up 4 supplements, then there should be no problem.
I disagree with that statement, Mr. Wentworth, respectfully, but there's a contract that says you're gonna have X number of coaches, and they're gonna be paid X number of dollars for a supplement. So, I'm concerned that there's no buy-in from the union, and that, we may discuss, if you say you're dividing it, and those coaches in fact say, well, wait a minute, I thought I was just getting full supplement, then you're gonna have some difficulty. So, if this is not an urgent matter, I would suggest to the board that we might want to discuss it, further in executive session even, or, understand clearly how this was gonna be accomplished.
That in that supplement says that these is, just like anything, is that of the principal to make those decisions. We didn't change it. Jesse, Mr. Brazel, did not realize that all 9 of them had not been appointed. He's learning, he assumed we had to send this, when he came over to check on it, he realized, oh, should have been more on that list, and this should have been the way it was
So let me ask you this.
written in June, not in August, when he knew, hey, these were gonna be my coaches.
But in June, the language was that there was just 4 supplementals, right? So when it came over, right, and I understand that part, because Lacey did explain that part to me. But I guess my concern is, I'm aware that all these coaches has been out there from day one. So my concern is, why is this just not coming over? Why couldn't this have come over a little sooner? But he knew that he had 9 that he was interested in working with. And he knew that there was only 4 supplementals and the opportunity for there to be a 5th. So at what point did he develop the plan that we're gonna split these 4 supplementals? But the recommendations came over in June. That's what I'm trying to ask you. So when,
Playoff game, so they get another playoff game.
and I seen the recommendation for that.
That's how this all came up. Let's come over, let's discuss it. Let's go down and talk to Lisa. I don't think he meant. And Mr. Finley. He's learning, he's trying to figure out things,
Okay,
Yeah,
question,
go ahead.
Superintendent.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that would, prohibit us? Is there a need to do this tonight, or could we do this in as she said, either a if we need to talk about the supplements different, or get some more information? Is there something we need to actually move on tonight?
Is it something that needs to be done? Lacey, is it going to affect how we,
Well, I think he was trying to get it done before their December.
right?
Well, because some of them are not getting it at all, right? But the other 4.
Done and completed. Work's been put in.
So for the ones that are not getting, the others are getting their portion. So we need to correct it if we can.
3 of those would receive a December for all they have spent through the season. Because 3 of those are not, they are employed, to be taken, Zach is an employee, but he's not he's a
Yeah,
sub.
he's a sub.
Sean is really on our sub list, and so is, Marquis.
But they don't,
Other jobs.
yeah, but they're not subbing right now. Comstock is the only one subbing, but Sean and Mark are not. Right. That's what I'm saying. Mark nor Sean has sub any this year. So they haven't received no type of payment to the end of this season. But these other coaches have. Yeah, Mincy has received, Faulkner's received. You just said out your mouth that y'all divided up under 10 payments. So some people have received payment.
We're talking about the 4 on number 10.
I'm not talking about number 10. I'm talking about, Bonnie just asked a question. Have some people received payment and have some not? And I'm just saying, some people have and some have not.
Those other 4,
Receive nothing.
It's 2 of those that have not received anything. Biddy worked for us. Biddy has received. Comstock is working. Comstock. Y'all said that from the get-go. And so that's why I'm saying the thing is if this was never supposed to be like this, and that's what I'm saying, if Biddy and Comstock has been working since August and they've never received anything, I'm trying to figure out why we couldn't have caught this before now.
Can I call the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we do have a motion and second to approve this. Okay.
That was for discussion.
Is there any further, we've had enough discussion on it now. Are we at the point to move forward, or do we want to?
I would like to know what Angela recommend with the concern to pay them for the December check. What would she recommend legally?
And Angela, did you hear that?
Not entirely, no.
Okay,
I did not.
Deidre said she'd like to know legally, what you think with 4 of them, we have not paid anything for their coaching this year.
Well, if I would, authority would be done for coach hire supplement.
The
You have a finite number of
principal.
supplements in the contract.
The
And from
principal.
what I'm gathering and hearing, that was expanded by some authority, but did it ever come to the board? Was it, discussed? I don't know, and I'm not trying to be the fly in the ointment, but I'm really concerned about just arbitrarily saying, oh, well, this is the correction. We're gonna effectively double the number of coaches that have been approved by the committee, the union, and the board, and the rank and file by ratifying the contract. So that's my concern.
We've
I don't
already
know-
approved these
it sounds like
coaches.
We're dealing with this retroactively, and first awareness that the board and I have had of it. But nonetheless, I think it would warrant some further discussion, or we're gonna be setting a precedent and potentially having an unfair labor practice.
We have approved these coaches before this.
No, we
meeting.
didn't.
All this is doing is taking the same money and splitting it now so that these 4 that weren't getting any supplement because they haven't given it out or would actually get it.
No,
That's not the issue though, Ms. Agner, that's not the issue, to arbitrarily say, okay, well, they kind of tacitly agreed to split the money. The issue is, by what authority were these supplemental positions granted,
The principal.
and when was that done, and so forth. So, again, my advice to the board is that, if this is not an urgent matter, that it be, handled at the next meeting, and give us an opportunity to explore those questions, and also make sure that we're not gonna have a union issue with this.
Okay, so we hear what Angela is saying. We need to, if the board would see fit to let's get more information, understanding, and bring it back to the next board meeting.
We won't have another meeting till January.
So based on the advice of our attorney, we can table this to our first meeting in January,
Yeah.
But we
just
need,
to obtain answers.
Y'all do realize these men work since
Mhm.
August, right?
Mhm.
That's not the concern.
Sweat. Since August. Is it? Mr. Brown told me though. Not keeping up with that?
I get that, Ms. Blue, and that's the concern why I'm asking, because my concern is, I know these men have been out there, not since no August, they've been out there since football. And so that's why I'm asking is, supplementals is not new. When Jesse got here and all of this was discussed and everything, my concern is why wasn't it caught before now? Because again, I get what Angela is saying, and again, it seems simple, but it doesn't seem simple when we know there can be some concern. So that's the reason why I'm asked the question is, the football season technically was pretty much over before Finley got appointed. So why did it take Finley catching it beforehand? I mean, that's what I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding why it wasn't caught before now.
So let me just say,
Braswell is an administrator, so I'm not understanding why it wasn't caught before then.
so let me just say, I already called the question, which ended discussion on it. So at that point, we should call for a vote, but if we do vote on it and it passes, we're doing so against the advice of our attorney at this point, because now we have her opinion on it. So
okay, but it has been called to question. We do have a motion and second.
but it
Yes,
was for discussion. So it's really not you can end the discussion. I
that
mean,
was
that's
what I called the
No,
question.
no, that's what I'm
was in the
saying. It was
discussion,
just
yeah.
for discussion.
okay, all right, well, we need to change that to a motion or whatever the board?
So my motion was that we table this to our first meeting in January based on the advice of our attorney to make sure we're not doing something
It-
that is going to go against our unions.
I second.
All right, that's the motion we have there. Um,
I second.
you,
I second.
you second that. Before we vote, Mr. Superintendent.
I'm in full agreement that these guys have sweated and worked their tails off for this school district, for those kids, for our football program, and we saw the results of it. To sit here and table the thought of those guys being paid what they've earned until after Christmas is beyond me.
So,
That's just, I'm saying what I feel.
thank you. So I would vote, if I were called to vote, I would vote to go ahead and pay them. But also we have an attorney that we pay to give us advice. And we're not in the habit of going against our attorney's advice. If we're going to, so that's the reason that I made the motion.
Okay, so you've made the motion. I'm sorry.
Sure, Kiki.
That committee was formed, been formed for years and never enacted every year. Decided to pull this back together and have a supplemental committee. That committee does not discuss who got what positions and what.
It did, and it just said how many positions could be of it. That's what it does. Said,
5 positions, just like we have one National Honor Society, but they may split that National Honor Society. Or we have one cheerleader sponsor, but sponsors, but they're gonna split it. We have done that forever and ever.
Yeah, let me just say also that I coached middle school softball in Taylor County 30 years ago, and it was a split salary between myself and another coach. So I
Okay.
do know that it's something that we do.
I'm not sure if Angela can hear, maybe she can. That supplemental committee is to decide how many positions we have, not if we can split one position. I don't understand where a grievance, unless these 9 guys did not agree to it. But my understanding from Mr. Braswell, when I asked him, that they understood that was the stipulation. They did it mainly out of the love of their heart.
so if we could split and do all of that, and I get that, and we know that this was a concern because we know what came from this committee. We know that, there was concern from Superintendent Bashirs that this stuff come over when it come over. And my concern is that we know all this. Then again, why did we just allow these loose ends to happen? Again, paperwork is just as much as important as recognizing the work people do. We're not new to this. We do this every year.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
When is the next December paycheck, and can y'all have a special meeting to do this?
We've already been paid for December. The next paycheck doesn't come out until January unless supplementals are paid differently.
December 15th.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
All right. Okay, so we have a motion and second that we table this to the next board meeting. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
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 So we
You're
had,
going to be the tiebreaker.
well, I voted to,
Okay.
okay, if I'm breaking the tie, I'm breaking the tie or not to table it. So now we need a motion, of what's the care of the board now?
I make a motion, we go forward with the vote to,
All right, motion's been
Correct.
made that we, recommend or approve the supplements. Do I have a second? All right, Ms. Carlton seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Okay, Ms. Donnell opposes. Okay. Item number 10,
We just discussed it.
and, once again, it has to do with supplements.
A motion.
Motion's been made that we approve it.
I'll second.
Ms. Carlton seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Ms. Donnell opposes. Okay, this brings us down to item 12.03, which is Ms. Puel, Director of Personnel, is requesting to approve $10,000 on top of current salary to the administrative assistant to payroll due to extra duties, help with personnel in the district office.
Motion?
Who made the motion?
Bonnie Sue.
Okay, Bonnie, Ms. Agner makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, Ms. Mathis seconds it. Any discussion?
Yes, Ms. Pure, can you speak to the need for this?
No, I can run get it.
I mean, I can get it off my head, but, my understanding is, right now, we are technically position short in the superintendent. Tier 3 used to be the safety / personnel. Autonomy has now transferred into,
Benefits.
yes. And she is
Benefits.
still trying to keep up with many other tasks, with her administration.
Can we state what those responsibilities are? Yeah, Shanna's that you saying she's still keeping up with.
He's doing the agenda for one thing.
Yeah, I would like to know.
That's all.
Okay.
So basically, we're short. We're trying, and so we're trying to help Shannon and we're trying to help the front. We're still in need, but we're trying to also understand what, Mr. Wentworth needs, and we're trying to cut a little bit, and try to figure out how we can make some job, responsibilities to other people. With that being said, this person is taking on about 5 job duties, one being posting of job positions, one is, with the master position control sheet. Payroll, posting. Oh, and the personnel recommendations. She's gonna be doing all the personnel.
So on the attachment that came over, it said job posting, position control master, payroll for administrative office, and personnel recommendations from the board. Right. So these duties came from what position? And were you saying these was part of Shanna's old position or Christie's old position? So there was a combination of both. Okay. So the reason why I'm asking this question is to my knowledge, when Shanna was promoted to benefits coordinator and did the transfer, that we just appointed her to benefits coordinator. I recall speaking to Superintendent Bashirs at that time when she said she was going to make the recommendation that Ms. Dotamy would be going into the benefits coordination, and until she decided what she wanted to do in regards to filling Ms. Dotamy's previous position of administrator to superintendent, that Shanna would still assume some responsibilities. And mainly that what was pointed out was far as the board agendas and, getting that prepared. Now, back in August, the recommendation came initially in regards to us doing an increase and, what we're doing tonight in regards to the network administrator Tim and Miss Lisa, and the creation of the secretary 3. Now, at that time, it came off in regards to doing what we're doing tonight in regards to Lisa. That's not my concern. But my concern is we got listed tonight what responsibility is going to Lisa and that, we're doing an increase. But in regards to these other duties that's falling on Ms. Dotamy, I'm trying to figure out when is that going to be addressed? Because Ms. Dotamy was promoted. She wasn't under the impression that she still was gonna be doing these duties. To my knowledge from Superintendent Bashir's, she would still be helping out until, she decided Superintendent Bashir's decided how she wanted to fill the vacancy. The recommendation came over for a Secretary 3. We hired for a Secretary 3. That position is now vacant. I asked you a couple of weeks ago when we're going to decide where we're going to re-advertise that. You said you hadn't decided. Now, I know I asked Superintendent Bashir's too before the transition, could we address this? She said that she wanted Reggie to figure out whether or not he wanted an assistant, but that responsibility could come up under the Secretary 3. So my concern is we're vacant of a Secretary 3. We're transferring some duties and an increase in salary, but it still leaves a lot falling on Ms. Dotamy. So I'm just concerned as to, is we gonna fill this vacancy that could take some of this responsibility off of Shanna? Or is it still gonna be that she's filling these responsibilities?
Okay, and that's the main question I have is in this, is there going to be some relief factor because of this person taking on two
I'm gonna
jobs?
be real honest, I'm gonna have a mental breakdown, and I have talked with everybody, like, it's not, like, I can't continue to do all of this, and I know we've talked about it too, but like, I don't know anybody else who's been responsible for 2 whole jobs, like, and that's not the way that I understood it either.
Okay.
I understood that myself and Christy or some things were gonna fall on Christy because she wasn't doing safety anymore. And then she resigned, so that never happened. And then they wanted to create the Secretary 3 position. I understand I've been here for a long time and I understand that I know how to do things, but I can't do 2 jobs forever. And I don't know that anybody, I don't know that anybody cares about that.
Do you think this would alleviate enough pressure?
Well, it will, but those things are personnel things, to be honest with you, that Christy was doing to begin with. Those weren't really my responsibility.
No.
I just thought the job
But are you
description
going to be getting rid of what you took, that part of the second job you took on?
that I, out of the graciousness of my heart, took up, yes.
So
but-
that will help you.
But like, I really think, and I've talked to him about this too. I didn't push it back then because I didn't know if Alicia was going to get reelected or not, and if she did not, whoever was coming in here should have been able to hire who they want. Like, you should have the right to be able to hire who you want in here, who you trust. I have no desire to run away from this place and leave things all on the floor. That's why I keep picking things up, but I can't continue to do everything. I have no problem with Lisa helping and doing things. That's not really an issue.
But if they was personnel things, they're still leaving your jobs.
Let her finish.
Like administrative to a superintendent, that's not something you can't do. And I don't think everybody realized how much stuff Chris was in charge of because she didn't run around telling everybody. And Brenda knows from all the FISBIT things, all like the risk management things, all the hurricane things, there's workman's comp. Like I've talked to people every single day this week about insurance stuff and helping them get their insurance stuff correct. And like, none of it is especially hard, but there's so
Time
many
consuming.
things going all over the place that like, I can't do anything well because like I'm doing everything.
And again, will this give you the relief that
A smidge.
smidge? That's
let
the question I'm.
Do we need,
I mean, I don't want to make this an issue because I don't have a problem with that because that's a very strong need and Lisa has to deal with that too. And it helps with some of the issues like the supplemental thing right now, because she may have caught that early on. You know what I mean? Some of those things. I don't have an issue with that, but like there is a need for more people in this front office. Like I know we're going to be short staffed and we need to cut our budget, but I don't think it's the superintendent secretary. And I really don't think it's fair that I have to pick up and do both of them. And I don't know that I've ever expressed it so freely, but like I do feel like I'm being thrown under the bus and taken advantage of. Not necessarily on his part because he just came in here and hasn't had a chance to.
No, but that's why I asked Alicia to take care of this before the transfer. And I know,
He kind of felt like he
And she did. She expressed that concern, but also she also stated that's why the recommendation came for the Secretary 3, because there's a lot of responsibility that Kiki has right now, and she don't have a person. And when we had that whole contract, I mean, we did all that consulting with Holly Ditchman. Holly Ditchman's made that recommendation, and that's why we put the specialist in the position. That's why Christy was doing the dual roles. But like I say, I think from what was explained to me, Alicia felt like the Secretary 3 would consume all of that until Reggie decided what he wanted to do far as administrative assistant. But with that vacancy of the Secretary 3, it's like it's falling. And so that's why I asked.
Administrative secretary, but that's gotta be on. Waiting and seeing how things were going, but obviously it's stressing a lot of us out. I mean, we're all running around like rats.
Okay, but on the table at this moment, we have a motion and second.
Right, and I don't have a problem with that part, and I don't mean to make that part. the issue.
Okay. But we have on the table a motion and second for this recommendation.
Motion.
So
We
We
already
already
have.
have that.
Oh, okay.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so carried.
Can I offer up, I was gonna, under items of interest, I was gonna ask, can we go ahead and schedule sometime in the future, maybe a budget workshop so we can see
Where we're
and kind of
standing.
look exactly where we're at, look at some of the impacts with our enrollment and everything else, go ahead and look at that. And at the same time, the superintendent needs to be looking at what he needs. I mean, there are some, I know he has some needs
And
there
some
too.
forecasting into 2025, 26 year. That's, I know
Okay.
anyway.
This brings us down to 12.05, number one, the appointment of Jennifer Alman as Assistant Principal of Taylor County Elementary School, effective
Motion.
December the 2nd.
Second.
You got-
Motion.
All right, Ms. Motion and second.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Agner, seconded by
No,
Ms.
Ms.
Mathis.
Carlton first.
Hmm?
Ms. Carlton was first,
Okay,
and then.
Ms.
King.
Carlton, I'm sorry, and then Ms. Mathis.
Mhm.
And, okay, motion and second's been made. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried.
Congratulations, Miss
Congratulations.
Amen.
All right, item
Thank
12,
you.
12.16, job description revisal approval, job description revision for staffing specialist.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Carlton makes that motion. Ms. Agner seconds it. Anything else on that?
Ms. Pugh, can you explain why we're making a revision to the staffing specialist?
Falls under her,
Mm-hmm.
sent a report to her. Yes, some concerns, they were a little outdated. I believe the last time the job description.
Okay. In review of the
Okay.
current job description and what is recommended, the change that I see is the degree level. We're going from requiring a master's degree to just requiring now a bachelor's degree.
All they have to be is certified in ESC. Like the IT, have some, so the master's was going above and beyond. Of it, looking at other districts.
So there is a requirement that they have to be certified in ESC? Okay, all right.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. brings us down to the items of interest by the superintendent and board. And Mr. Superintendent, what do you have?
Just first of all, I'd like to say that it was very nice to have those kids here tonight to give us their speeches. Anytime, as I've said before, we can recognize our youth in this community for the good things that they do. We need to take advantage of that, and I thought they did a super job. And I've had the privilege of seeing Mr. Merv at work at the middle school, and it is outstanding. And we need to continue to utilize that source as much as he's willing to help us and be a part of it. Got to see a soccer game last night and a girls' basketball game in one night. So that was a first for me, but our girls played
Playoffs.
well. They beat Osceola Christian. And that was a treat, to say the least. But other than that, excited about where we're headed. We've got some good things in the future that we're trying to accomplish. And I'll spill those beans later on once we get some things in stone. I'm very happy with the people in our office over here for the selflessness, for the fact that they work hard and go above and beyond their job to make sure that we get things done in a timely manner. The one thing that I'm emphasizing to our administrators and our directors, which we have a meeting tomorrow with all of our administrators, is communication and teamwork. We're all in this together. We're all working in the same direction. And as I said in my campaign, and that's to provide a safe, healthy environment for all of our students to get the best education possible. And I'm going to stick to that as long as I'm sitting here. Our kids deserve that. Our community deserves that. And that's my goal. And I'm very happy with the direction that we're going at this time. Now, if I could just find a tree that would drop some dollar bills, we'd be in great shape. Oh, one more thing. I want to congratulate Miss Jennifer Ammon. This has been something that's been coming for a long time. She's been Teacher of the Year at 2 different schools. She works diligently at her job day in and day out, and she is going to be a fantastic assistant principal, and probably sitting here one day because of her work ethic, and I'm excited about what she's going to bring to the Taylor County School District.
All right, thank you, Ms. Donnell.
Yeah, I just want to again to say congratulations to our students that we recognized tonight. I thought it was awesome, that we not only recognize, our students for their academic, their academic abilities. We also recognize students tonight for their character and just, their different talents and the ways they decide to participate in our district. I think that is so outstanding, when a student gets a perfect score. I know the teachers enjoy it. I know our administrators enjoy it. And it just, again, it reminds us, the importance of education and, challenging our students to achieve their best. The Tropicana speeches, I know one year I got invited to judge those, and it's just always so awesome to see the amount of work that the students put in, to preparing their speeches and just not only writing their speeches, but just getting up here and being able to deliver such a beautiful delivery. And they all articulate so well when they speak. I know Miss Blue would be proud. And then, like I say, with those students tonight, far as just, again, learning, taking it, enrolling in this program, making it a commitment and coming out, and just the feedback that we receive from them in regards to those services. So I'm just happy, to know that we're getting a turnaround on our investment with allowing that program in our schools, and we're seeing some character development in our students. So that is awesome. Again, congratulations to Ms. Amen on her appointment. Again, I know Jennifer, I can remember Jennifer when she used to do Even Start. And I can remember when Even Start was ending because it was a grant funded program. And Jennifer was telling me that, wasn't it Mr. Cruz recruiting you? And and she was not excited. But just to see, over those years, how she went from, working with adult ed and helping them getting their degree to now she's working with actually students. And I'm sure she's taught some of those students from those women that she worked with, yeah, grandkids. And just to see just how she's, having the opportunity to continue to develop and, go to different levels in our district. So congratulations, Jennifer. Um, and what am I missing? Congratulations tonight in regards to, what you mentioned in regards to the soccer team and just what we're doing in all our sports. I know we've just, been shining, in all aspects this year in regards to our different programs. So congratulations to those efforts. Now, Jeannie, with this that you gave us tonight, far as the Grinch, the dress rehearsal, is that where they're doing anything, or is that just where they're trying on?
The dress rehearsal is the daytime show.
Okay.
The actual show. It's
Okay.
a chance for the kids to get to see themselves because at
Okay.
night, so, and the public comes too.
So the public is invited to the dress rehearsal. Okay. All right. All right.
All right, Ms. Agner.
Well, congratulations to all the students and to Jennifer. I won't even go how far we go back. But, but I'm just so thankful that we can all work together and get things accomplished. We had a good time like last week at the Florida School Board Association meetings. I wish I could take all of y'all with us. There's so much to learn and so much to see and such good speakers and motivation and just keeping the main thing. It's about the students. And anytime we can showcase our students, we should. We have such good employees. We have such good leaders. We've got we're very blessed. We're very, very blessed in this district. And like the doctor said about Casey, she cares. I think everybody in this district really cares. I don't think we have a soul here that says, oh, I wish I wasn't here, because I really believe that they really, really, really want to help our students and want to work with each other and help each other. So that is a blessing to me. I think God has really shined upon this district. We've had some rough times. We've been through some rough times, and just pray that this next year is going to be icing on the cake and we can get to eat some.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mathis.
Yes, well, everything everyone said, I loved seeing our perfect scores and the Tropicana speech and Dr. Mater, did I say his
Merv
name?
Mateer.
Mater?
Material.
Mater? Okay. So I really enjoyed hearing from him and his mentorship program. And it was 4-H speech, not Tropicana. They're not the same thing, are they?
Yes, they are. It's the
Tropicana.
4-H
Oh, they are the
Tropicana.
same
Yes,
thing?
4-H Tropicana speeches.
It is the same?
Oh, they done took the Tropicana off?
Okay.
Oh,
So it was amazing. Of course, last week when I heard it was going on, I did talk to Reggie about it and I wanted to see him here tonight and I was really looking forward to it and I'm glad it worked out. And thank you to Reggie for making it happen for us. Had a great time last week at our training, our school board training. And the big takeaway for me was the FSBA, the Florida School Board Association, has started a new committee for safe schools. And so that I immediately joined it. And I'm looking forward to it, participating in that and at the state level as well. And I talked to the representatives, and to me, before Marjorie Stoneman Douglas came along, we were in the business of education. That was our number one priority. After Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and I was here and I went through the training and I saw all the film and it really, really was a huge awakening for the state of Florida. Our number one most valuable thing we do, the top of it is safety, is keeping our staff and students safe. we can't educate anyone who doesn't feel safe in their environment. So we went from education being at the forefront to safety being at the forefront. And I probably ran screaming down the aisle with I'm going to be in this group. And so I'm really looking forward to it and the things that we can do to help. We're really in a great position because when you bring anything we bring before the legislature gets funded, nobody is going to take away money from safe schools. And so that's wonderful. And it's always wonderful to fight a battle you can win. That's winnable. And that is the case for safe schools right now. And complacency. I remember the FBI in our trainings, the man that was giving our training to the school warden, the update saying complacency kills. And that's what happened at Marjorie Stoneman. They had so many opportunities for that to not happen, but because of complacency, it did. And so always in our district, I always want it to be at the forefront of everyone, that we're always looking out and taking care of each other around us. And so with that being said, we have a Steinhatchee Hula Day coming up, and that is next Thursday. I have papers here. Everybody's invited to come. We've been working really, really hard on it, and I am so excited for this year's show. This is the shortest time that we have ever gotten these kids from tryouts to the stage. We normally start in September, and we started in November this year because of the hurricane, and everything was pushed to the side. And we just decided that we were going to give it to the kids this year. We were going to have that opportunity, and we were going to have that community play. And it's going on at our school, and I would love to see everybody there. And we have a Santa shop coming up next Monday and Tuesday, which is a fundraiser in the community for Steinhatchee School. And that is where our little community thrift store saves up gifts all year long. And the kids come from the school and buy gifts for their families. And we wrap them and send them back with them, and we donate all the money to the school. So that is coming up next Monday and Tuesday, and then our play is next Thursday. So a busy week for Steinhatchee next week.
All right, thank you, Ms. Carlton.
Just wanted to reiterate about our meeting last week in Tampa. It was one of the, for the Florida School Board Association and the district superintendents. It was one of the better meetings that I have been to in a long, long time. As Bonnie mentioned, the speakers, the workshops, it was just, everything was just really, really good. And I'm glad we had the superintendent there. There was, I think, 59 new school board members and 19 new superintendents that were there. But you think about the superintendent, that's 19 out of 67.
Right.
So, I mean, that's it's just a little less than a third. But anyway, it was a very good meeting. Congratulations to all the students and the recognitions tonight. Congratulations, Jennifer. The only other thing, do you have a date of our January meeting? No, here. 21st. I just didn't bring my calendar, and I want to double check 21st. Okay, that was all I had.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lundy?
Here, Angela.
Yes, Ms. Ball, do you have something?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have any items of interest. I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I'm
Thank you, thank you.
gonna leave the meeting now. So thank y'all for letting us hear my phone.
Merry Christmas to you.
You, Angela.
Okay, what,
Couple things, Mr. Lundy, don't strangle me. Two things I
He
want
should-
y'all to be aware of, if you have not heard, we met last week with the Educational Foundation Committee, and that committee made a recommendation that we divide the $50,000 up. That email will probably be going out tomorrow, letting every employee that they will. Checks will be dispersed on Friday.
An individual, a separate check.
Yes, ma'am. Made out from the Taylor Education Foundation. Second thing I want you to be aware of, All the discussion about, what, is there anything we can do about these victims from the hurricane? So we met with a group of about 12 or 13 principals, assistant non-instructional, instructional, and the committee that we formed around disastrous situations basically boiled down to they didn't want to address all these situations. They said, why couldn't we just use our policy or our leave donation that we already have in place? If I am an employee and I'm down to 10 days of my leave time and I have a huge, house burn, I would go to my principal and say, I've got to take the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks off. I'm gonna be without leave, and I have got to get my family settled, or, they would go to the principal, this is what the procedures are, the principal would then discuss this with the superintendent, and the superintendent would say, you have my blessing to send out an email on behalf of your teacher that's in need, and ask for donations directly to that employee.
So you're not recommending changing our policy as it is?
No,
Okay.
I'm not creating it. So they felt like this leave donation policy and procedure that we already follow would be sufficient. Because no matter what policy we develop, it would still follow the same guidelines as our sick leave thing, where you would use up all of your leave before you would go to sick leave bank, or you would ask for help. And we've done that for people that weren't in sick leave bank. They might have developed cancer and they come before their principal, and then that principal on behalf of that employee has requested that from the district or from their school, and people have donated time to those employees. So they felt like we should continue with that same, those same procedures instead of doing something special, because we come up with disastrous events and I think there's 4 or 5, but there's sure enough, if we come up with a policy, there's gonna be another.
Well, you just said a house being burned, that's a disaster.
Yeah,
No,
it
no,
is.
we-
It is.
We had said that.
Yeah,
Flood,
yeah.
tornado,
Yeah.
hurricane.
Cancer.
fire. But we feel like we
Yeah.
already have something in place. So if people are in need, we just need to remind them, between Lacey and I, that we have this out there already, that there's no need to develop another policy. So I just wanted y'all to understand we have cleared both of those things, and
Do you know how much the check's gonna be?
about $121 a piece.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And,
Yes, thank you guys for doing that. Really appreciate y'all getting on top of that and getting it done. Thank y'all.
thank you. And as we close out, I just simply say that, I appreciate Ms. Ball bringing it up. Our last meeting we had, we all walked out and we failed to do something that, we had, I can't never remember not doing. And that was wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, tonight though, we just want to simply say that we hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. It's been said that this is the most wonderful time of the year, but we know that we've all been through, our county, our community has been through a whole lot. But I believe that in the midst of the time that we're in, as far as this time of season, I would say that we can find peace and we can find joy, and we can find a merriness or happiness at this time. And I hope everybody will seek it, and if they will find it even in the midst of all that we've been through. So with that said, Merry Christmas, and do I have a motion and second to adjourn?
Motion.
All right, Miss Deidre, and motion, Miss Carlton, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? This meeting is adjourned.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We won't be back till after New Year.